Hey you guys! Okay, so I'm wearing my shirt still. I told you this is like my all-time favorite shirt now because I ran a 5K. So now that I'm like a total running pro, I'm gonna give you some tips. Just kidding. Um, okay, but I did run a 5K. And I'm still like super proud of it. In fact, I kept my number and I pinned it on my bulletin board, and I think I'll keep it forever, just because it signifies an awesome accomplishment. Um, Alright, so there's a few things that I want to talk to you about. First, I'll start off with my C210K week 9 day 1 run that I did today. It was intense, but I ran I ended up not running this whole time, but given that there was some walking and my warm-up cool down, 4.26 miles, and it felt really good afterwards, but it was 45 degrees when I went out, and to some of you I know that's going to be like so warm, but to me it was not. I hate the cold, and on top of like it being chilly outside, it was so windy. Oh my gosh, the wind was so hard, and that made my run a little more intense too. So that was pretty rough. But what it was a 5-minute warm-up, 10-minute run, 1-minute walk, and then you do that 4 times, and then you have a 5-minute cool down. So I ran all over the place. I'm actually really impressed with all of the area that I covered in that. I ran in 2 different states even. Like, that's how much I ran. We live like right on the line of Arkansas and Oklahoma, and so I ran in both Arkansas, mainly in Arkansas, and then I ran to Oklahoma and then ran back. So it was pretty neat. But anyway, so that was my run today. Okay, so there's a few things that I do want to update you guys with my health. I mentioned a while ago that I was diagnosed with an overactive thyroid, also known as hyperthyroidism. Alright, so I went to see an endocrinologist who specializes in the thyroid. I went to see him on Friday, and I was not happy with my options. Basically, I have what's called Graves' disease. It is named after scientists, not like going to the grave. Most terrible name ever. I don't know why that scientist chose his last name. Why not just like Scott's disease or something? It sounds better than Graves. But anyway, I have Graves' disease. That's what causes the overactive thyroid. And so my options are this. First of all, I can't do nothing because the risks of doing nothing means that it's just going to get worse. It's never going to get better on its own. And it will eventually lead to probable miscarriages, infertility, heart arrhythmias, and congestive heart failure. So doing nothing is not an option. Much less we can't ignore this, finish like building our family, having more kids and stuff, because I basically can't have more kids right now. That was really disheartening for me. So my 3 options are this. 1, medication. 2, radioactive iodine treatments. Or 3, surgery. So, number 1, medication. This is the first one that I was kind of more interested in at the office. And basically what it is I have to be on a certain kind of medication for 2 years. After 2 years, they'll check and see how it is. And if it's balanced itself out, then great. It's kind of like in remission. But it can still get triggered to where it becomes overactive again. What triggered it this time for it to become overactive for the first time in my life was my pregnancy. What happens when you are pregnant is your immune system goes down. Well, as soon as you have your baby, your immune system shoots back up. Well, Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease. So when that happened, that is what triggered the Graves' disease, which then caused my overactive thyroid. So with this medication, it would get it back in check, and so hopefully my body would then begin to work on its own again, like normal, but it could still be triggered. And if that medication didn't work after 2 years, then I'm just left with the options of surgery or radioactive iodine. So medication is kind of like a well, let's see how it goes. Now, here's the problem with medication. There's two different kinds of medication, and that's it. One kind, they don't ever recommend anymore because of the liver damage that it causes. However, the other medication that they would prescribe to me, you cannot get pregnant while you're on that medication. And so, being on that medication, if I decided that I wanted to get pregnant during that time, within that 2 years, then they would have to switch me to this liver damaging medication while I get pregnant, go through the first trimester. Then they would switch me back to the other medication, and there are possible side effects to the baby. Well, you guys, I'm not willing to take that risk. However, my husband and I have thought so long and hard about just kind of the timing that we'd like to see for our family. I know everything doesn't always go as planned, but we'd still like to do everything that we can that's possible to stick with our plan. I mean, my husband's had baby fever like since before Franny was born practically. He was asking when we would have our second. That's where he's at. I had Franny and I was like, do not say the word baby to me. But anyway, we were thinking of starting to try it for a baby next year, like around May, around our 5th anniversary. And so Franny would be about 1.5 years by the time we started trying. And so it's just kind of like, okay, that's kind of how we saw our life going, and now things are kind of a little bit finding a hiccup, I guess you could say. The second option was radioactive iodine. With that, basically they do different treatments with radioactive iodine on your thyroid to kill it off, basically, so much so that I would have to be on medication for an underactive thyroid for the rest of my life. Well, with the radioactive iodine, I couldn't get pregnant until at least 6 months after that last treatment. I don't know how long the treatments take, but anyway, still, just the whole idea of like so much radiology and stuff being inside of me kind of freaks me out. And my mom had that done, and she had some pretty bad side effects because of that too. She lost a lot of hair and just all of that. Not really a road that I want to go down. Okay, the third option was surgery, and with surgery they would do a thyroidectomy where they would take out a big chunk of it, and I would then be on medication for the rest of my life for an underactive thyroid. Now, those medications for the underactive thyroid are a lot more easily managed, especially when it comes to pregnancy, having a child, all of that. So, at the office, those two things sounded so extreme that I just asked questions about the medication. On my way home, and then especially talking to my husband, I thought, okay, I really want to explore this option of surgery. And so I have a call into my doctor, and we're kind of playing phone tag right now for him to talk to me about surgery. From his tone of voice, because I read that because I'm a woman, his tone of voice told me he's not a super big fan of that, but he would have to refer me to a ears, nose, throat, I think that's what it is, an ears, nose, and throat doctor to do the surgery. So anyway, I'll keep you guys updated with that. That's kind of what's been going on with me health-wise. Weight-wise, I'm still like really stuck. And so I don't really want to talk about it all that much because, I don't know, I just don't want to. I'm kind of feeling like I am, I don't know, getting a little off the bandwagon, or like holding on to that bandwagon by my fingertips. Like, I'm still doing the running and stuff, which is awesome. The eating I'm struggling a little more in, but here's what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with not eating enough because it's almost like I'm just not really hungry very often at all. And then at nighttime, I just want to snack. Not because I'm hungry, just because I want to. So, anyway, that's what I'm struggling with. I didn't mean to make this video super long or medical and stuff, but that's what's going on. So, anyway, I appreciate your thoughts. I'd appreciate your prayers if you pray, and, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. I hope that those in the U.S. have an awesome Thanksgiving this week. I will be pigging out, I promise you. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I will probably pig out on Thanksgiving, but I will be running that day, too. So, balances out, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, have a great week, guys.